In this InteGreat Learning video, we're going to explore using the Hummingbird Chrome app for the BirdBrain robotics system. Here you see pictured a motor that's been mounted to a box. There's a second motor on the other side of this box, and this is a Robotic Rover. The first thing you want to do once you have motors attached to a box for a rover is get the motors to work. So we're going to go over here to this default program that opens with the Hummingbird connection app, and we're going to drag it over to trash it. Then we're going to bring out a motor, and this 1 represents port 1. Now the motor that you're looking at, the wires are plugged into port 1. I'm going to go ahead and put in a number here. In this case, I'm going to put in the number 50. When I click on this block, the motor begins to spin. Now, the first thing I notice is that the motor is spinning counterclockwise, but I'm going to bring my finger in here. My finger is pointing to the front of the rover. So what that means is the number 50 is making this motor go backwards. So I'm going to stop the motor. How do I do that? I change the number 50 to 0 and I click again. Now my motor's turned off. A little bit of glue left there from gluing it on. And I'm ready to do some problem solving. Something you should know about the motors is that the wires have a positive and a negative, and so does the controller. So since a positive number is making my motor go backwards on my rover, I can do one of two things. Either I can use negative numbers, which might be confusing, or what I prefer is to reverse the wires on the controller. So you take the two orange wires, you take them out, you switch places, and then it should work. Let's try that. Pause the video here while you make that change. Now that I've reversed the wires in motor port number 1, I go back in and I put in the number 50 this time, and when I click on the block, now the motor is going to cause the motion of the rover to go in this direction, which is exactly what I want. Now, if I want the motor to go backwards, I'm going to go ahead and put this on 0, stop my motor. If I want the motor to go backwards, I simply use a negative number. So I might put in a minus 50 instead of a regular 50, and when I click on the block, now I go backwards. Now, an important caution: you don't want to jump between forward and backward without stopping the motor first. So always make sure that your programming turns the motor off before it changes directions. Now, numbers you can use for the Hummingbird motor can go anywhere from 100, that's the largest number and the fastest spinning, all the way to minus 100. Which is as fast as it will go backwards. Now you know how to wire and program a motor.